Hey all, welcome back to the homestead. So we have a huge update. Solar system complete. What? Almost complete. So Dodge has finished a big portion of it. Do you want to give them an update?
We got 10 200 or 20 240 watt panels, 10 in series, 2 parallel. We run them inside. We built the solar mount here. This will tilt throughout the year so that we get the best sunlight. This is pretty much set in the winter mode right now, but it'll flip all the way over if I wanted to, but there's no reason for it to point that way. It's all up and running, but I've got to come back and zip tie all these up and make them pretty, keep them out of the way. We don't want animals getting all in them. There's about almost 5,000 watts here. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a kind of a breakdown on what this costs to build. It's not going to be near as much as what a lot of them are, since we're frugal and work on a budget. Excuse the mess, I've been doing the shed, so.
And if I trip and fall, the cat did it.
Yeah. I put all of the solar controls and everything in the shed. This was kind of a long time coming because all of this was stolen. If y'all have watched one of our last videos, we explained how we got broke into and they stole all of this and we had to rebuy it again, which took time. We had to save the money. But anyway, this I'm going to kind of give you a breakdown of the cost. Let me get my little paper because I'm old and I can't remember everything.
Okay, so, see, I told you I was going to trip. So this is kind of what we have.
I've left it open so you can see it. It's a Grow Watt 5,000 kilowatt charge controller, MPPT charge controller, and inverter all in one. This is a Grow Watt split phase transformer. It's a balancing transformer, a mid pole transformer. Because the Grow Watt puts out 240 volts. And so we split it into two 120 legs with the transformer. It keeps it all balanced. That's what it is a balancing transformer. And then it goes into the breaker box. This is an IMO. This is for shutting off the array in there. So if I need to do anything, I can just completely shut it off. Because solar panels don't have on and off switches. These are EG4 Live Power 4 48 volt batteries. They're just over 5 kilowatt hours each. There's 2 of them. We really want 6, but right now we've got 2. We'd like to have about 30 kilowatt hours of storage. And they communicate. This is all going to get put in conduit. I was in kind of a hurry. We needed it because in the last year and a half, we spent on gas for the generator. We spent about $9,000 trying to run the generator.
And that is a minimal
we spent about $9,000 trying to run the generator.
And that is a minimal it could be more than that.
A low estimate?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got it all hooked up and actually it all went really good. I turned everything on and I had no issues. Everything worked just exactly like it was supposed to. I didn't have to I had to, configure, you gotta configure your batteries, but with these batteries, because they have the built-in BMS, if you hook the cable in, they actually communicate with the inverter, so they know how much to charge and discharge and all of that. They all work really good. So I didn't really have to configure any of that. I just had to configure 240 volts instead of 230 volts, 60 hertz instead of 50 hertz, and that's the sine wave that everything in the US runs on, is 60 hertz. But it all just worked. I made a temporary plug for the trailer. It's a 30 amp, and it just worked. We've had one day since we started it that we had bad weather for 2 days. We didn't have any sun at all, and so we ended up running the generator anyway for about 2 hours. But then it picked right up. This charges this system up from usually through the night. We still have 3/4 of the battery power, and then it only takes, depending on how much sun, if we've got good sun, it'll charge them all full in about 2 hours. If it's not so great, cloudy, it's about 4 hours. Today it took about 4 hours because we were kind of cloudy. But so it charged, we have a lot of power to charge these, so for what we use anyway. And these are expandable. I can add up to 6 of these for 30 kilowatt power. That'd be like having a 30,000 watt generator. But it all just worked really good. Like I said, we haven't had any problems. The shed's already wired, it's breakered in. We did buy the breakers, and all the power in here works good. So I'm going to kind of give you a cost breakdown of what it all costs. We think we did really good the way of what it cost. But anyway, these batteries are right at $1,500 a piece, and we've got 2 of them, so that's about $3,000. This controller, this is a grow watt controller, all-in-one hybrid. And if you have the grid, you can tie this into the grid so that if you have bad days or with no sun, you can charge from the grid if you want. We don't have the grid here. We're completely off grid. This was $730. It's like $729. The transformer, it splits into 2 110s or 120s actually. It was $329. This is an IMO shutoff disconnect for the solar array, and you want this kind because it's so fast that you don't get any kind of spark in it, and that's why they do it. It's spring loaded. The wire for the solar array, we got 100 feet of each one, the black and the red for positive and negative. It's 10 gauge or 10 AWG anyway. 100 foot of each, total to $110. Let me get out my eyeballs here. Where we hooked up the 2 series in parallel out there, we had a couple of splitters that paired up the wires, and those weren't expensive. They were like $13. We had some what they call MC4 connectors. That's where you plug all of the solar panels together. Those were like, I'm going to say those were like $6 for enough to do all of this. The solar panels, we bought the solar panels at Santan Solar out of Arizona, and they were used panels. They'd all been checked, and I checked them myself. They just were used. Companies will get new ones, and they get their old ones, even though there's nothing wrong with them. They have a contract every couple of years. They just replace all the panels. Anyway, the panels were like $900 for 20 of them, which is a really good deal. And then there was the shipping. It come out to about $1,400 shipping and all to get them. So just this stuff right here and the solar panels was about $5,600. which to me that's really good. When you try to find somebody to install this stuff, it's crazy. All the breaker box, we bought the breaker box used off of Facebook, believe it or not, got a good deal. We paid $50, that's better than the $200 at Lowe's or Home Depot. We did do the ground rod, that's like $20. We bought the 15 amp breakers for this place in here. And then we had to use what they call a double pull breaker, 30 amp breaker. That's for this, that runs this, that's what the tire, that would be considered your main, kind of. And that was like $18. And the mount, believe it or not, we used 4x6s and 2x6s. It's a really stout, and it pivots on big 3/4 inch bolts. But that whole mount system we were able to build for about $700. So, and these cables right here, I already had the big 2-aught cables that I'd gotten before for some inverters. But if you go buy those, we got those at HarvestRight, they're about $40. But all together for everything, was about $6,400 bucks. That's the solar array, that's everything you see. So, and like I said, we got some cleaning up to do. I want to put all this in conduit. Matter of fact, we ordered a DC breaker for the solar panels also, and that actually came in today. We got to go pick it up. But that's just so that it's a breaker between the solar panels and this, where this is just a manual shut-off. We wanted a breaker. It's not required, but it's something that we wanted just because it's better to have a breaker, a $15 breaker, go off than take out all this stuff, and I don't have to buy it a third time. But anyway, that's pretty much the breakdown on this. If y'all have any questions, you can comment. Chris, you got something?
So if you have anything that you want to know about, comment. You can email us. Make sure you subscribe and hit notifications. Also, this is what we've chosen to do. You don't always have to do what we've chosen to do. If you find something that's better or equal, and you want, maybe some advice, feel free to ask for it. We're willing to help if we can.
I mean, I'll be totally transparent, anything you want to know, but also, just so you know, this isn't like a tutorial or anything. This is just the way we went about doing it.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. We went this way because this system can always expand to a lot more than what we'll ever need. And we probably will end up expanding it some. We definitely want a lot more battery. And we will probably end up getting another one of these 5 kilowatt controller inverters at some time. Maybe when we get the house finished. Right now, it says right now that we're using, out of 5,000 watts of what this thing can put out, we're using 1.8% right now. I mean, that's less than 2% of what this thing is capable of. So we're really not going to need anything bigger at this time, but eventually we may.
Yeah, and we run everything we want to run. The microwave runs, the heater runs, the fridge runs.
Your computer.
My computer with all my monitors for work run. What else?
Starlink.
TV, Starlink.
Phone booster.
Yep.
I mean,
have you run the fireplace yet?
No, but it will. We just haven't needed it.
Yeah.
It'll run that microwave. It'll run that electric fireplace.
Yeah.
But it's just, I got to be honest with you. I got nothing bad to say about this Grow Watt stuff. I mean, I hooked it all up, plugged it in, turned it on, and I haven't had to do anything. It just worked perfect for us.
Yeah. Grow Watt's been really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and I had one question, and that was about hooking up this, because when we bought this stuff before, we got a Solar Edge transformer, split transformer, and it didn't have an input. Its input and output was the same wires. It all ran off the breaker box. This one actually had an input, so I called Signature Solar. That's where we bought all of our solar equipment. The panels came from Santan, but all of this came from Signature Solar, and they were awesome. They told me exactly what I needed to do, that use the input on this one. It wasn't like Solar Edge. And so I did that. And I got to tell you, we haven't had a single glitch. The only thing that we've had happen is no sun for 2 days, well, a day and 2 nights. And it's still, even with just 2 batteries, we only missed the sun coming up by about 2 hours.
Right. And so eventually we want 6 batteries, which would be
30 kilowatts.
Yeah, we would not ever.
We could go days.
We could go days. Is there anything that you would do differently?
Just more batteries. I got to be honest with you. I like everything that's happened. I don't have anything that I can think of that I would do differently. Not get robbed the first time. That cost us about $4 grand, just in the solar stuff. Maybe more.
Maybe more.
But they got batteries and controller and all of this stuff. They got all of it. I'm not whining. I'm just telling you. That's also a reason why this hasn't been done a little sooner, is because we kind of had to scrimp and save and start all over again. But we got it. And so right now it's, what time is it?
It's right close to 5. I can hear animals.
This thing is, right now it's close to 5, and we don't have a whole lot of sun going on out there. And it's putting out 325 volts coming in from that solar array. And, you know, that's over 4,000 watts. So, and in the bright daylight, it's way more than we need. It's putting out 240 volts AC, splits right here to 2 110s and goes in there. We left the cover off so y'all could see. All these have covers. When we get done with the video, we'll cover it up. But batteries are completely charged. This doesn't even use the batteries. You actually don't even need batteries with this if you're only going to run it in the daytime. It doesn't need batteries to operate. This can operate, this does operate our whole deal without batteries. The batteries don't come into use until there's no sun.
And you can also hook a generator to it where it automatically will pick up, right?
Yeah, I can hook a manual start generator where I got to get up and come out here and start it if I need to. This thing will actually hook to a generator that has a electric start. It will start it and shut it off all by itself when you set the parameters of how low you want the battery to get for the generator to come on, and then how charged you want them to be when it goes off. So, and that's probably something we'll do. We do still have the generator. I don't have it hooked to this, but because it's not an electric start, so not much point hooking it up. Even though you can hook up even if with a manual start. But like I said, we've had no problems. I've had no tech issues whatsoever. It was plug and play. It just worked.
So what do you think that this system would cost someone who was going to pay to have it done and not do it themselves?
Yeah, I don't have any idea what installers charge. There was no sense in me looking. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I spent a lot of time in research though. And there are a lot of different charge controllers. And I'm not saying there's not better. I know there's a lot more expensive ones than this. But for the money, even I think now that I've done all this, even if we had the money, I don't think that I would go a different route other than more batteries and maybe another one of those. And we'll end up with that anyway. But for right now, this does everything we need it to do. Seriously. I couldn't ask for it to do any better. So, but if you have any questions, like I said, I'll be totally transparent. I'll tell you anything you want to know if I know it.
We're not professionals, by the way.
Not professionals. I actually studied this, you know, because I'm a dumb redneck, so I did a lot of studying and looking and asking and before we ever did this. And for me, this was the best way, and I'm really glad this is the way we went. And if y'all need your solar stuff, I'm telling you right now, Signature Solar out of
Sulphur
Springs, Texas. Those people got it going on. They have solar panels. They have everything. They have a lot of other different ones. They've got EG4 controllers. that's EG4 is also these batteries, these LiFePro batteries. But yeah, these are 51.2 volts. They're 100 amp hours each, 5,120 watt hours. So two of them together is, you know, double 10. But I don't know what else to tell you other than it just works. Everything just works. We've had no issues. It's weird to not fill up the generator every day with gas and oil, and it's weird to not shut it off, but it's just, to be honest with you, it was a little bit of a letdown because
there was no maintenance.
There's no nothing. It's just turn it on and it's all of that work and it's just over.
It's just electricity.
Yeah.
And so for the last year, first we were running off car battery and the truck running while I was at work. Then we went to a generator, and to be honest, we went through what, 3 or 4 generators?
We went through 3 generators.
Yeah, because they were running 24/7 because we needed the power. And Harbor Freight kind of has gone downhill as far as...
Yeah, we don't get any more warranties.
Yeah, you don't get warranties after you return a few generators for not working over a couple of months. But there's no sound.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's quiet.
Yeah. There was no fireworks or anything like that when we turned it on. It just worked, and we went in and sat down and watched TV.
Yep. Starlink doesn't have issues with it.
Starlink works good with it. By the way, we love the Starlink. We don't have a WeBoost phone. We have what they call a high boost phone, and I looked at both the WeBoost and the high boost, and we went with the high boost and totally happy with it.
Yeah.
We get cell service out here in the pasture. I got it right here in the shed, and it's up there in the trailer. So it just works. And Starlink, I get Wi-Fi right here, and it's up there in the trailer. Everything, we've really been blessed. Everything is, you know, I know we got robbed and all that, but you know, God's got us away. We did it, and it just turned. It's one little switch under here. Well, you turn the batteries on, and that switch, and it just worked. And I just kind of stood here like, what do I do now? And I just went in the house. It was over.
That's so cool. So there is a little bit of maintenance we have to do. Like, we have to do some rewiring because it's put together, you know, in different places, just kind of rednecked right now. And then we'll get moved into the shed, and we won't have to have for the trailer anymore.
No, but I'm still going to put a 30 amp trailer plug. I've got a 30 amp plug right now. It's just kind of running out the window.
Yeah.
So, our generator was pretty close to the third one being on its last leg. And so I really needed to get this going, but I didn't want to be in such a big hurry that I messed something up. So it all worked out good.
Yeah.
But anyway, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. And we appreciate y'all watching these. We're learning, but it's going to get there. We're making progress. We'll have some more updates on the shed when we get done.
Yeah.
Or as we go.
As we go. All right, guys. We love y'all. Talk to you soon. Have a great night.